Welcome, everyone. This is podcast number 23 of What's with Health and Care. And today we are talking about busyness. So Sue and I are having a chat through the emails through the week and thinking, what are we going to talk about this week? And Sue said busyness. Are we really busy, or do we like the feeling that we're busy, or what's with that? And so here we are talking about busyness. So, Sue, would you like to tell us a bit more about what inspired this idea?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back for another week. So for me, that concept of busyness happened because I had a day where I just couldn't be busy. So I knew that I had a lot to do. I knew there was a lot on, and I've got a lot of stuff to do, but I just couldn't do it. My physical body went, no, sorry, you're not doing that today. You're actually going to take some time off, and you're going to go and do some energy building for you. And so my emotional brain went, hey, no, getting anxious. No, you've got to do work. You've got to do work. And so my physical sort of body was going, no, actually, we're the boss here, and we're going for a walk. So feeling system can go away for a moment, and we're going to go and run the show here. So,
That's
bigger body
interesting,
one.
Sue. So how did you notice that? Like, how do you get to noticing that that conflict? How did that feel?
I think it's when I get very I just feel tired, and because I have a lot of energy on any given day of the week, and so when my energy for my work, which is my passion, flags, that's a real trigger to me to go, oh, something's very wrong here, because I love my work. I love what I do in using coaching to help people have better lives and, unpack their worlds and find another way of being. And I love that. So when I'm flagging to want to be part of that world, that's my world that I created, that's a big alarm bell to me. So, and knowing that, that logic limbic system, my physical body versus my feeling body can get a bit split and get a bit argumentative. So I can just sit there and go, yeah, physical body's saying tired, and sorry, thinking, feeling person, there, you need to just allow the physical body to get some energy back.
So it sounds like you sort of align with your purpose and your values and what you're really about. And then when you notice that something's conflicting, if you're not able to pursue that, then something's going on, and that's sort of a cue to tune in and notice.
Definitely. And I think, it's all that lots of years of practice of, really unpacking myself and knowing self, spending so much time unpacking my personality, unpacking, my values, really knowing my strengths, that my core strengths, those top 5 that I sit with. And so when sometimes they can get a bit too powerful, and I'm very conscious of my 5 lesser strengths, which is, self-determination and self-preservation. I will put them down low. And so when I can see that they are being disregarded in me, by my feeling self, I can go, hey, you back off. You've had enough power.
Yeah, okay. Get down the list.
Yeah, you can pop off for a bit.
Awesome. And so what did you notice then, like with taking that time out?
Yeah, I went for a lovely walk, and I had a midday nap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's really unheard of for me to allow myself to do that. Which actually meant that when I got to my next day, I was fully functioning, running on all, my cylinders. Like I was, the top performing machine that I like to be.
Yeah, yep. So you're able to just fully recharge.
Exactly. So I got up in the morning knowing I had what I had to do, knowing, and because I have lots of planning tools, which is the thing that I'm interested in hearing from you, Celeste, is about your planning tools, because that is the key to success sometimes too, because I in my head went, yes, feeling system is getting anxious because feeling system was like, well, you've got too much work to do. You can't have time off. Like, you have to do this and you have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to let yourself down if you don't do this. Like, and, my anxious brain really was trying to take over. And so I really had to go, no, your tools that you use to plan time show you that tomorrow you have got some flexibility of time to make sure that you can do that work tomorrow. So, you need to just calm down.
Yeah. So it takes a bit of practice, doesn't it?
And it does.
Be able to do that.
And having the systems around you, Celeste, like what systems do you have around you so that if you do need to quickly change the plan?
Yes, well, it's in a process of evolution for me, Sue. So when you said this week, let's talk about busyness, and I thought, yeah, actually that's really timely, because this is the week that I've chosen to really try and get a routine established in working at home. And working from home is like a blessing and I wouldn't say a curse, but it has its definite downside if you're not really disciplined about how you spend your time. And there's so many things that you can justify going off and doing, like folding the laundry or just doing that bit of washing up or cooking dinner or whatever, and it can turn into, instead of half an hour of meal prepping, 2 hours later, doing something else. So trying to be accountable to myself. So I looked around and I found some different tools, and the one that I really liked was actually a journal, sort of productivity journal that is in the States. And I thought, well, it's going to take 2 weeks to get that. I need to start now. So I just got a blank workbook, and I've blocked off half-hourly slots through the day that I'm not, and I've accounted for my, appointments or whatever, or meetings that I have to have. And when I'm at home doing my thing, I just have these half-hour slots, and I take 5-minute break and go run up and down the stairs or do something to move myself, because prolonged sitting, we know, is not good for us. So I saw an article the other day talking about sitting being the new smoking in terms of the impact on our health. So, and it changes my state, gets my brain going again. And then after 2 hours, take a time off for a break. That's when I can go put the laundry out or chop up some veggies for dinner or whatever, and I try to have a bit of a break then.
Therapeutic vacuuming.
Yeah, the vacuuming. I'm delegating the vacuuming, actually.
Yeah, I love cordless vacuums. So I just, then I go and vacuum another room.
Yeah, good one. That's good. Yeah, so that's where I started out, and then I've got a spreadsheet that I can then put those hours into at the end of the day, just so I'm tracking it to see where it's going, and that gives me information. And it's been for me more about what I've learned, because I just went right off the rails yesterday. It reminded me of my study schedule when I did the HSC way back in 1986. And having, all this great aspirations to study 10 hours in the day and doing like 3 on some days, because it's about being realistic. So I'm learning about what I can accommodate and what I can't. And yesterday was another matter going on in my home life that I needed to sort out, and involved lots of phone calls and lots of interaction. And so it just completely threw me off. I think I did 2 hours of work instead of the 6 that I had in the schedule. But, that's what it is. And I've noticed, and the other thing I'm noticing is that I'm checking in on myself every half an hour, roughly. I'm actually checking in and seeing, now, where are you at? What are you doing? Yeah. Oh, I'm not doing what I'm meant to be doing. Okay, well, pick that up, cross that off.
Why not? And why not? Because when we do this thing where we start noticing, I'm working so much, and then you do your spreadsheet, or for me, it's my Outlook calendar, and I go, I didn't actually do that 2 hours I said I was going to do there. It's that noticing and going, yeah, you're not actually working as much as you think. For me, then that's like, oh, well, stop going on in your head as if you are.
Yes.
You know, like, power
Yes.
down, soldier. So I have this little bit of a conversation with myself to go, hey, wake up to yourself. You know, you're not working as hard as you think you are, girl.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good reality check. Do you think that's what
Definitely, Sue. And then it's like, so if I'm being more accountable, then I'm actually noticing when I'm if I can be more accountable and then productive in those times, then I get to take time off like that. You know, like it's not, and I don't have to justify it to anybody, like I know, but it kind of gives me that feedback that I need to say, yeah, I'm going to lunch with my girlfriend, or, you know,
Yes.
I'm going to spend an hour on the phone to a friend that I haven't talked to, or my mum that I haven't talked to for a while, or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
And not have guilt and not think that I'm too busy for everything, because at the end of the day, they're the things that matter the most, to those relationships and connections. And we tend to get so wrapped up in how the busyness and feeling that we need to be. It's like a rite of passage or something.
I think that's a really good point that you say there, Celeste, is that idea of sometimes we're doing a whole heap of things because we've gotten to a habit of doing a whole heap of things, but they're not actually doing anything for us. They just become a habit of things that we do to fill our calendars and make us look really busy, but we actually are lacking connection to them, and we're only doing them because somebody else wants us to do them, or have a perception that this makes us a better person if we do them. So if we actually looked at our calendars sometimes and said, you know, do we really need to be there for that? Is this really important to me? Why do I keep going to this dinner that I come home from and I'm so emotive and angry and all of these things? Like, why do I keep going then? I'm genuinely unhappy when I do it. Why do I keep doing it? You know?
Sounds like a boundary needs to go there, Sue.
Yeah. So, and that's really interesting, isn't it? Because putting boundaries in is actually self-care.
Yes.
So if we're blindly filling up our calendars with busy time, so it's just mindless busyness. So that's really unhealthy.
Yes. So the first step's tuning in and noticing, isn't it? Really, what? Hang on a minute.
And you know, that's where tools are really helpful to help us notice. You know, like, so those tools of going, you know, what you were saying there of actually, you know, using a workbook, using a spreadsheet, mapping your time. Or I think noticing when you're feeling really good. So when you feel really good, why are you feeling really good? Is it because maybe it's, an example is a friend just the other day said she's so looking forward to school holidays because she just gets to spend time with her kids. And I said, well, why? Like, why is it only at school holidays you get to spend time with your kids? Like, I don't understand. Why'd you say that? And she said, oh, well, because, you know, when school's on, like, we've got all the school activities and school's on, and, you know, and then they've got dancing and, you know, swimming and, you know, and like all that sort of stuff. And, you know, like, we're so busy doing that. So it's, you know, we start at 6 in the morning and we don't sort of finish till sort of 7 at night every day. Like,
wow.
So does everybody love doing those things? Oh, no, then you've got to drag them there because they so don't want to go half the time.
Okay, yeah.
Like
we all have days when we don't feel like it, but if it's a constant, then it's a few red flags.
And so and I think that's and it's not like a terrible thing, but I think, isn't that, I wonder how we could notice that a little bit more and go, am I doing things just because that's how we do things? Or do I do
choice?
Choice. Exactly. Great word, choice. So actually being connected to something because it's something that's authentically right for us. You know, I don't know.
It's interesting. I think a thing that's really helped me, speaking of tools, and we talked about it beforehand, is mindfulness, to actually have a way of being able to tune into ourselves, and whether it's meditation or whether it's like, just taking a mindful walk or doing an activity that helps you tune into yourself, that really helps to increase our focus and our attention, as well as noticing those, like you were talking about before, about the sensations in our body and our anxiety, anxious emotions or whatever.
Yeah,
it's so helpful.
I was actually just reading this week because I've been following a bit of I've been reading a bit of Eckhart Tolle and Johann Hari, and then I was my other hero, Thich Nhat Hanh, passed away a couple of years ago, but I love him as well. He's actually got a book coming out, new release in the next 2 months. I think it's the end of June actually, so I pre-ordered that. And one thing they all have in common when you read a lot of their stuff is about the power of the 3 deep abdominal breaths. Just to sort of, as a quick tool to center self.
Yes.
And I think the reason I love that so much is because the science of that and the pressing, and the large inflated chest breaths really, pushing down on the stomach and sort of getting that abdominal aorta pushed out as well. So just it's automatically slowing down our heart rate and our breathing rate, and just that sense of calm that comes from those 3 deep breaths, And any yogis listening will go,
exactly. But it is like, it's such a powerful thing that when we are so caught up in getting from A to B, and you no sooner get to B and it becomes A, and then you're off to the next B, and even if it's just pausing to notice that, we got to B, yay, and think for a minute before we just charge off to the next one, and just be in the present moment. Otherwise we go from the start to the finish of the day, go to bed, get up the next day, and then suddenly 6 months has gone past and we wonder why it's going so quickly, and what we've missed along the way, because we're going to something. We're always on the way to something and not actually noticing where we are in the moment as we get in there, just enjoying the journey. And it doesn't have to be a hard thing. Like this morning, I was coming home I got to go to a Pilates class this morning, and it was nice and early and the sun was just coming up, and I thought, I'm going to drive along the river on the way home today. It's just such a nice, peaceful thing to just, not that I'm looking at it the whole time as I'm driving, it's just that feeling of ambience, and wind the window down and the fresh, cool air, and just be in the moment. I'm still driving home to the next thing, but it's just taking those little moments.
Exactly. And it's, and because we do get energy from other elements. So we do get energy from land, and we do get energy from water. Yes. So it's that sort of thing of, if we intuitively go, I want to go near the water now, there's a reason, you're intuiting that, because that you are more in touch with that part of your body at that moment, because you've exercised it and nourished it through Pilates. So it's all of those components when we really spend time knowing ourselves, and we really spend time listening to what our body's telling us and going, I really want that, so I'm going to go do that because that's good for me.
Yes. Right? And then noticing the difference that it makes for us when we do that. So are we more productive once we've taken that time out for ourselves?
So I guess with these last few minutes left, I'm just thinking, what I think I'm probably wanting everybody to notice from this podcast, from my point of view today, is if you feel that you're waking up on Monday and then next thing you're saying it's Friday and you're not really noticing what's happening in the middle, but you just talk about how busy you are all the time, guess what? It's not a competition. Okay? Life isn't a freaking competition, okay? It's about, finding your flow and being at peace, with your flow and all of that sort of stuff. So, how can you, find it in yourself to notice, and what tools, might you use to sort of find your pace on your terms? It's your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I probably want from today.
Yeah, Sue. Yeah.
What about you, Celeste? What are you?
Yeah. It was interesting when you said, it's not a competition. And I thought, yeah, like, is this, Brene Brown talks about the hustle for worthiness, that we're always looking to feel validated in the eyes of others, or maybe it's some measuring stick we have for ourselves, rather than just being who we are and being happy with that, and stepping out in the world, being authentic and being comfortable with that. It's not, it takes a bit of introspection to get to that point, doesn't it? But it's so worth it.
Definitely. But you don't, I think it's, and I know this is my perspective, but I think it's just a terrible way to get to the end.
Yes.
To find time.
Yes.
When there's so much, every day of our lives is another great thing.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
And to miss them all is, I don't know.
Yep. You only get one crack.
Just makes me sad.
So here's to positive things coming out of this little conversation, folks. I hope that it's helpful for you.
Haven't noticed. Make sure you notice how busy you are, and tools. So what's your best tool for noticing planning?
Oh, best tool for I really think it comes to the mindfulness for me, because even though I'm trying these different things, it's noticing what I'm learning. Like, if I just looked at yesterday and it was a total crap show, I'd think, oh, bugger it, I'm not doing this anymore. I just can't do that. I got to go with the flow. And that's just making excuses for myself. So I've noticed that actually the little things are that I am tuning in every half an hour and checking in, like, where am I at and what am I doing? And whether I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing or not is kind of beside the point at the moment. That's where I'm at, and that's what I'm taking out of it today. And things are going to build from there. So it's a process, and we need to, I'm just easing up. That's my one. What about you, Sue?
Oh, I'm probably in that same. Listen to yourself, and I guess if you're out, and maybe you haven't had the privilege of getting to know yourself as much as we have, so that's a difference too, I guess. And if you are learning yourself, just map your time. Maybe spend some time, use some tools, use your Outlook, use a spreadsheet, use, a day calendar, a journal book. Just start mapping your time and going, where are you spending your time? And is that time good to you or bad to you? Maybe that's just a simple one too.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, great chat, Celeste.
Awesome. Thanks, Sue. That's a good yarn.
Well, I guess we'll say goodbye for the day. And if anyone wants to follow us or, give us an email, send us something else to talk about, great. We've got a new friend joining us for our next podcast, haven't we?
We have, yes. Looking forward to that.
We've got another healthcare friend joining us. So life is good.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to you soon. Be well, look after yourself and listen to yourself. You're a good person. Bye.
Bye.